If you want to learn a simple song that could potentially make your audience go crazy, cut and rug on the dance floor all night long, then in this video, I want to show you how. Now, years ago was the first time I heard this song. It was actually at the Starlight Bowl in Burbank, California. I was watching a Beatles tribute band one summer evening as a kid, and I remember the guitar player kicking into this song, and people stood up all across the audience and just started dancing and twirling each other. And I remember thinking, what? Music can make people do this? Now, this song wasn't actually written by the Beatles. It was written by two writers named Phil Medley and Bert Berns, and it was originally called Shake It Up Baby. Now, if you're looking for the Beatles lesson of this song, I do have that on my channel and website, but today I want to share with you the Isley brothers version of Twist and Shout. So let's get into it. We're going to start off with this guitar riff that goes 1, 2, 3. All right, so there's just 3 chords you need to know and 2 shapes, 2 bar chord shapes. So let me show you those first. The first one is an F. We're in the key of F. We've got 8, 10, 10, 10. That's starting on the 5th string. And then we go to a B flat chord, which is 6, 8, 8, 7, 6, 6. And then C, which is 2 frets higher, 8, 10, 10, 9, 8, 8. Now, these are bar chords, but you'll notice that you've got this shape and then this shape, right? And then this one is really the same. And that's the beautiful thing. Once you learn to play them effortlessly with the right technique, you can actually play these chords all over the fretboard. So when you learn one chord, you're getting at least times 12 because, you know, you can play it on 12 different frets at least there. So those are the first 3 chords. We've got the F, the B flat, and the C, and that happens to be the 1, 4, and 5 in the key of F. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna connect these chords with a cool rhythm part and bass line. We're gonna start with this. Okay, so that's the first walk up there. I'm playing the notes C, D, E, F. And then you land on that F on the downbeat. So that part there is actually what's called a pickup. It's gonna start on the and of 3. We'll count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So you end up here on the 8th fret on the downbeat, on the first beat of the measure. Now, if someone was counting off this song as the guitar player, you're gonna come in on a pickup. So you have to come in before the downbeat. So they would go 1, 2, 3, bum, 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 and then you'd hit that downbeat there. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Then what I do, so I played that note, and that's the first note of the F chord. Then I just give a strum on the F chord on beat 2. So 1, 2. Then on beat 3, we're gonna go to that B flat chord. Now when I play these, you don't have to play all 6 strings. I kind of just play the bass strings. So you actually technically wouldn't even need to bar if bars are too hard for you. You just get those first 4 notes. So, okay, then we move up to C on the and of 4. So it's gonna go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that C there is anticipated. It's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, again, before the downbeat. Then you go 1 and 2 and 3. You play just down strums there. Those are 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3, then and 4 and 1. Okay, now that there is just the bass line again, and that comes from the F major scale, which is the scale for this song. Now, if you're not sure how to play scales up and down the fretboard and figure out keys and really just understand what's going on the neck, then I want to give you a gift, and what it is my free fretboard guide. Just go to johnmclennan.com/fretboard guide and you can download this PDF right away. It's Just one page, but it's going to be one of the most useful PDFs you'll ever see for learning the neck. And it's completely free. Just go to johnmcclennan.com/fretboard guide and grab that now. It's going to really help you learn this song and just play anything you want on guitar. So that's what we're doing, is walking up that scale there to the F chord. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And that's it. That's the main progression. Now the actual guitar part on the recording is playing more on the higher strings, kind of something like this. And this is what I would do if I was playing in a band. Kind of just playing like a groove on more the treble strings. You see, when you play a chord like this, that's a lot of information in one chord. And so when you're playing by yourself, you can do that. But sometimes in a band, you actually want to par it down a little bit and play less, and you actually sound bigger and you fit into the ensemble better. So again, this isn't a lesson on how to play in a band. It's a lesson on just how to play the chords and the guitar part. So that's what I would do if I was doing my own version. And you could do this with a band as well. That's just what you hear on the recording. It's more that kind of like, more of like a Motown approach where you're using triads and things. Again, when you see my fretboard guide, you'll be able to see the different chord shapes that I associate throughout the neck. And so that'll help you put together parts like secondary guitar parts and learning to play in a band, etc. So that's the main part. And that goes over and over for the whole song, except for there's a few other parts. There's this cool guitar solo, and well, it's a guitar solo on the Beatles version. It's a horn solo on the Isley Brothers version. So what I do for that is you could play it on guitar if you wanted to play it along with the horn player. You could go 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a really cool part there. And again, it ties in with the chords. This is the first part there. I'm playing 8 and 7 on the 5th and 4th strings. Play that twice, then drop it down 1 string. That's part of like a B flat chord. Then 7 and 6, again going up that B flat chord. Then 5 and 5 on strings 3 and 2. Then I jump down here and play 10 and 8, 10 on the 5th string, 8 on the 4th string. Then that's strings 4 and 3. I've got 8 and 7, and then 7 and 5. Now, all of those are what we call thirds, and a lot of times you'll hear cool guitar parts played in songs in thirds, for example, like, you know, stuff like that. You'll also hear horn parts, right? Like, let's see, what song was it? You know, the Ring of Fire, right? The horn parts kind of do that. So this is the same thing. It's just all over, you know, on lower strings and moving around the neck. And being able to kind of hear those intervals and know, okay, so those are thirds. That's what thirds sound like. Or, you know, fifths, for example, you know. Or no octaves. Those are all different guitar sounds that you want to be familiar with. And you can learn those through learning intervals and all different kinds of things, you know, things that I teach in my programs and on my site. And so that's the part there. And then out of this, you can go, this is the you know, the big build up. And here I would play, instead of this C chord here, what I do is play a C7 down here. So I go 3, 2, 3, 1. And that looks like a C chord, if you know C, but I just added the pinky. And then you could play the open first string. if you want, but I just keep it 4 strings. And then I'm gonna do this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now that actually goes for 6 bars, and then you kick back into the main progression. So it's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you're back into the F, B flat, C part. So that's all you need to know for the entire song. Now the Isley Brothers version just fades out. So I'm gonna give you one bonus tip here, and this is how to end the song. So if you're jamming this song with your friends and you go, okay, well, how do we end it? Well, here's a cool bluesy ending, and this is just kind of inspired from like a T-Bone Walker blues sound, where he would use this chord here. It's a dominant 9th chord, and what you do is you play triplets, and you start down here on the 3rd fret, and you play it twice, and then you walk up every fret until you get to F9, and then you cut it off quick. So it's like, and then that's a cool chord there. That's a F13. So that's 1, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then if you want, you can go all the way to the 1st fret. So here's how that would look in context if you were playing the main progression and then you just kind of eject out of the song, hit the ending with this part. It would go. So there you have it. That's the Isley Brothers version. Now, if you want to learn to connect all these things together, like understanding keys and soloing and scales and chords, then make sure to grab my free fretboard guide. Just go to johnmclennan.com/fretboard guide, and you can get this sent to you. It's just 1 page, but I guarantee you it's going to be one of the most useful things you ever see for the fretboard, and it's completely for free. So just go to johnmclennan.com/fretboard guide. And if you enjoyed this video, I think you'll really like this one next.